In what promises to be the biggest cinematic throwdown since Batman v Superman, Godzilla and King Kong are finally rekindling their age-old rivalry in the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong. But if we've learned anything from the many other hero versus hero crossovers in pop culture, it's that these stories usually culminate with the two combatants putting aside their differences to battle a common foe. In this case, will Godzilla and King Kong team up to take on Mechagodzilla or Mecha-King Ghidorah? That's a popular theory among fans, and there's plenty of evidence to support it, including a tantalizing couple of moments in the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong. Here's why Godzilla and Kong's big brawl may be just an appetizer for the true fight to come. Godzilla vs. Kong is actually the fourth film in a shared cinematic universe that began with 2014's Godzilla reboot. In this so-called monsterverse, humanity is under constant threat from gigantic monsters called Titans, and Godzilla himself is basically nature's immune system. He wakes up every so often to fight off these Titans and prevent the world from being completely overrun. While there are a handful of characters who appear in multiple movies, it's really the scientific organization Monarch which ties the larger universe together. Monarch is formed after World War II to study the Titans and attempt to hide their existence from the general public. It's this group that sets the events of 2017's Kong Skull Island in motion. The organization will continue to play a major role in Godzilla vs. Kong, and in fact, they may be the ones responsible for setting the final battle in motion. There's also the post-credits scene in King of the Monsters, which hints at a similar idea. That movie ends with a glimpse of Charles Dance's character, Alan Jonah, approaching the slain corpse of King Ghidorah, heavily implying that his group of eco-terrorists plan to study and even weaponize the remains of Godzilla's powerful nemesis. That certainly seems like a seed that'll bear fruit in Godzilla vs. Kong. The Godzilla franchise has seen many incarnations over the years, but one thing is constant. Inevitably, the king of the monsters starts battling giant robots. Godzilla's feud with Mechagodzilla dates all the way back to 1974's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. In that movie, Mechagodzilla is portrayed as an alien weapon constructed of space titanium sent to conquer Earth for its creators. However, in most of its later appearances, Mechagodzilla is instead depicted as a terrestrial robot charged with protecting humanity from Godzilla. Whatever its current origin story with its vast armory and armored shell, Mechagodzilla usually puts up a pretty good fight. But in the end, it's only ever a matter of time before Mechagodzilla winds up decapitated and explodes. Similarly, Mecha King Ghidorah has a long history duking it out with Godzilla, starting with 1991's Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. In that movie, humans from the future use their technology to revive King Ghidorah and give him a technological upgrade. For once, Godzilla's nemesis is shown fighting in defense of humanity rather than trying to destroy it. As much as we're all pumped to see Godzilla and King Kong pummel each other, we highly doubt the new movie will show them at each other's throats the entire time. Both characters are really the heroes at the end of the day, even if Kong's story tends to end in tragedy. Eventually, these two monsters will realize they shouldn't be fighting each other. That's probably where the movie's true villain comes in. Again, the post-credits teaser in King of the Monsters hints that Jonah is using the remains of King Ghidorah to build a terrible new weapon. And we might even see a glimpse of that weapon in the first trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong. Those glowing red eyes sure seem like they belong to a mecha giant monster of some kind, don't they? There's also this shot in the trailer of a computer screen that seems to display the schematics for a mechanized Titan. Heck, it could even be that Mechagodzilla is running around wrecking cities in a Godzilla skin suit, and that's why everyone's so mad at Godzilla. Or maybe it's just that after enduring several giant monster rampages in the last few years, Monarch scientists are obsessed with building a weapon that can stop Godzilla and all other Titans in their tracks. Using a combination of King Ghidorah's carcass and the finest tech 2021 has to offer, Monarch will unleash a greater threat than anything it's been trying to stop. Whether that threat turns out to be Mechagodzilla or Mecha King Ghidorah, or both, the end result is the same. It's an understandable if misguided mission. Nobody wants to live in constant fear of an enormous reptile stomping through their apartment complex, but as is so often the case with science fiction, mankind may be guilty of underestimating its own creation. We know from King of the Monsters that Ghidorah is an ancient alien trying to terraform the planet. What if Mecha King Ghidorah retains its memories, causing what should be a defensive measure for humanity to become a greater threat than Godzilla or King Kong could ever be? Godzilla and Kong's wrestling match could be the least of our problems. And then there's also these Funko Pop figures for the film, which feature variations on Godzilla and Kong, including a Kong with red eyes. Maybe he just needs some visine, or could we be looking at a Mecha Kong as well here? There is precedent for that, and he's called Mechani-Kong, which is, cooler than Mecha Kong, I guess. For more on this epic cinematic mashup, find out why Kong is so big in the new movie, as well as why Godzilla is acting like the bad guy in the trailer. For all things monster movies, keep it locked to IGN.